Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker is now just 13 days away from its official release by writer and director J.J. Abrams and Chris Terrio, as well as creator George Lucas. This is Mike Zero. Make sure to subscribe if you're new to the channel for future content. Now, one thing about Episode 9 that a lot of fans are very worried about is exactly how J.J. Abrams is going to really utilize the entire film from start to finish, and how everything is going to be executed on the big screen from, of course, the very beginning of the Star Wars saga, now where it ends. And that's exactly the big thing about this movie, is that this film is being treated as the culmination of the Skywalker saga. But it's not just that, is that parts of Episode 9 will retcon elements of the originals and the prequels that go beyond everything. Now, what's really intriguing about The Rise of Skywalker is that there have been a lot of changes by Disney and Lucasfilm. I've actually talked about my concerns about this and my honest feelings about this before in the past. However, they will be introducing new canon lore in the actual movie and in the official novelization of the film, due for release in March of 2020 next year, which, by the way, is going to extend the actual movie a whole lot more. Now, on top of all of this, what's really intriguing is that shot descriptions consisting of a sequence where it's explained that Kylo Ren is said to travel to the world of Exegol, over in the unknown regions. It's explained that while Kylo Ren travels over there, he discovers a large base that is said to be Palpatine's hideout/base. It's said that once Kylo Ren enters the base and makes his way to the bottom, he discovers countless clones of Snoke, all lined up in different directions. In the upcoming novelization of The Rise of Skywalker, due for release in March of 2020, it's said to unveil that after Mace Windu developed the Wayfinder device that was said to have been created by Windu after his survival against Sidious, it's said that Mace Windu developed the Wayfinder device that Rey will eventually use in the third act of the film to find Palpatine. However, it's said that there is a secret within the Wayfinder that not only leads to a secret hyperspace route over in the unknown regions, but also over to the unknown star system in the unknown regions that contains an entire population of Force sensitives. One of the species, called the Midwu, lived over in the unknown regions on the secret world within the secret star system that Mace Windu discovered. Now, the Midwu are said to be the species of Snoke, and that during the events of Revenge of the Sith, Mace Windu also felt a dark and sinister presence over in the unknown regions. Though Mace Windu knew this figure was not a Sith, he knew that this species was actually a dark side creature and had dark side tendencies, and that after Palpatine's survival on the second Death Star, Sidious killed the original Snoke, who was the original Midwu, who lived on the world of Exegol. It's implied that the upcoming novelization will hint that Mace Windu survived the fall when confronting Palpatine, and that this is also said to tie directly into the early conversations that Disney and Lucasfilm had of wanting to develop a Mace Windu TV series for Disney+. It's said that the Wayfinder device that Mace Windu created holds a secret Jedi relic inside that is said to allow a powerful Force user to use the device as a way to see particular visions of their potential future. Mace Windu is said to be the one that implanted this artifact into the Wayfinder, and explains why when Rey touches the device, she sees a vision of Dark Rey. A future version of herself is actually said to be where she is able to turn to the dark side of the Force in the form of a vision. Now, additionally, it's noted that Mace Windu spent years developing the Wayfinder device before it was stolen and fell into the hands of the Emperor to use for himself. It's said that Mace Windu knew the location that led to the world of Exegol, which was said to be a place that was the home of Nile Ren, who was the master of Supreme Leader Snoke. However, Mace did not travel here just yet, as, of course, the hyperspace routes were not complete until Palpatine was able to finalize its destination by use of the Force. The Wayfinder device in present time during the film is said to be crucial for the character development of Rey in the third act of the film, when it all ties into the Dark Rey visions. So let's go over a couple of parts about this. Now, we heard about this Wayfinder device and how Mace Windu is the actual Jedi who created it, and how Palpatine eventually got his hands on this somehow, some way, and stole it from Mace Windu indirectly. Now, this device is said to be inside of the wreckage of the second Death Star, specifically in the old throne room of Palpatine that we saw in the final trailer. Now, the thing that's so intriguing about that is the fact that inside of that Wayfinder device, Mace Windu implanted a Jedi artifact that allows one to see visions of their potential future. And that's exactly what initiates the vision of Rey, is that Palpatine essentially was able to initiate a vision of a potential future of his granddaughter and implant it into that device. And that's exactly why Rey is able to see a potential future version of herself by touching the Wayfinder device that activates these visions. So it's a very interesting turn, because we do know that The Rise of Skywalker is going to insert Jedi and Sith lore. That's going to be the stronger point of this movie, even though I have gone over some of the flaws of this film based on what we have seen and have been hearing about this movie, and also based on Disney and Lucasfilm's decisions with The Rise of Skywalker. I would definitely say that this is by far one of the more interesting angles of the franchise. We will see the Wayfinder device, but everything here will be explained in the upcoming novelization in, of course, March of 2020. The only problem with that is not everybody goes ahead and reads these books, these novels, and these comics that extend an actual Star Wars movie. And in my own perception, if you have to tell more of the story in the form of a book, that means that the movie did not tell a proper story. Now, I understand you can't fit everything in an actual plot, but this seems to be quite significant that should be explained on film. So this will be extended in the novelization from March of 2020 next year, where it taps into Mace Windu developing the actual Wayfinder device and how it fell into the hands of Palpatine, and now how it falls into the hands of Rey. So, what's interesting about that, though, is that this is also said to be a moment in which, well before the events of The Force Awakens, at some point in time, Mace Windu created the Wayfinder device and actually knew about how it led to a route over to the unknown regions, to this secret star system full of these Force-sensitive individuals, and even the species of the Midwu lived on that world. The Midwu, by the way, are said to be the species of Supreme Leader Snoke. However, by the time Palpatine arrived over there in the unknown regions, there was only one version of Snoke left, one version of the Midwu, and that's exactly why he cloned them. And why we're going to see so many clones in the very beginning of this movie is because these are powerful creatures. Basically, the Midwu are humanoids that are very powerful through the ways of the dark side, since they live right near a nexus that is said to be the origins of the dark side itself, called the Beyond. Now, Exegol is not the only world around the Beyond. It's actually said that there are 4 more planets that will be explained that have constant lightning storms going around it, just like the one on Exegol. Now, what's really interesting about this too is that this also matches up with how Disney and Lucasfilm have been talking about developing a Disney Plus TV series of Mace Windu, and how it does connect to the hints and the little implications of Mace Windu surviving the fall after Order 66, after confronting Palpatine in Episode 3. So, as you can see, Disney and Lucasfilm, they are trying to make an effort to really bring back a lot of characters to life. And I think that's one thing that, a lot of fans will enjoy, at least for this character, or not enjoy about it. It seems like almost every character that either falls down a pit, or into the abyss, or into a deep chasm, or out a window, they seem to survive except for Han Solo. He's the exception of one dying here. So, obviously, the very end of this movie, as we have gone over before in previous leaks, Kylo Ren / Ben Solo is going to get the same treatment. He's going to be tossed down into a bottomless pit, into the abyss, never to be seen again, where his death will be left ambiguous. The fans are going to be left wondering, did he transfer his consciousness over to the Netherworld or not? Is he a Force ghost or not? That won't be explained in the film, and most likely won't even get answered in the novelization either. So I think that that's their way of course, giving us an ambiguous moment at the very end of the movie, and kind of just making things a little unclear in order to tell a different story in the future in the form of a book or whatever have you, some years down the road about Ben Solo. So, with that being said, the last thing I just want to tap into here real quick is that we also know that this movie is going to have a lot of canon lore that will be brand new to the franchise, that will add a different medium to the franchise that fans have never seen before in the Star Wars universe. So that's one thing to actually know about, is that JJ is implementing those different types of lore that's going to take Star Wars in a different direction, which may be a big risk, or, you know, something that may not work well with a lot of fans out there of how, you know, these stories connect to different elements like that. So, with that being said, guys, drop a comment below. Let me know what you think about all of this in the comments, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.
From night to moon, we hear them moans again.